You know, Halloween and Christmas are kind of the same holiday. Stay with me. Both holidays have a rich history dating back centuries, full of lore and mythology. They're the two most anticipated holidays of the entire year.
Sorry, Arbor Day.
People start celebrating them well in advance. And both Halloween and Christmas have kick-ass soundtracks. Hell, I mean, they're probably the only two holidays with a vast library of music to their names. Every year, without fail, you will hear Halloween and Christmas music in every store you walk into and on the radio, if you still listen to the radio. And yeah, I know most of these songs are recycled and covered over and over again, but some of these covers are actually pretty decent and become classics. And some of them, well,
really fucking suck.
I think you know where I'm going with this one.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Trevor and I am eternally uncool. I make videos about music, music culture, and anything that interests me. But mostly music right now. So if that sounds like something you'd be into, then I highly recommend subscribing to the channel and watching the rest of this video. Halloween music is some of my favorite music. There's something just so nostalgic about the kitschy spookiness of it all.
And there's so much of it.
You have the classics like Monster Mash, newer fare like Rob Zombie and Ice Nine Kills. And just like every Christmas carol ever written, every Halloween theme song seems to get covered over and
over and over again.
Some of it's been great, and some of it has not been great, to say the least.
It stinks. It stinks.
In honor of the spooky season, I have compiled 6 Halloween-themed covers. 3 treats and 3 tricks. Some of these covers are classic Halloween tunes. Others are covers of Halloween-adjacent songs. And some are just cover songs from spooky bands. Don't come at me for some of these not being Halloween-y enough, okay? It takes a lot to make these videos. It doesn't take a lot. With all that being said, grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's get into the video. I have been reading a lot of Stephen King this year. He's probably the perfect author for the Halloween season. You know, with his knack for supernatural horrors and gruesome scares.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
Plus, there's an endless amount of movie adaptations of his work. There's no end to the amount of King that you can consume. But there's only one Stephen King adaptation that I remember seeing in theaters. And that's the 2019 adaptation of Pet Sematary.
Sometimes dead is better.
This is both an adaptation of King's 1983 story and a remake of the 1989 film. Now, there's differences between all 3 pieces of media, but I won't get into those in case you want to check them out for yourself. What I will talk about, though, is the theme song for both movies.
I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery.
The Ramones wrote their 1989 song Pet Sematary specifically for the movie. Apparently, Stephen King was a huge fan of the Ramones. And he invited them to his home in Bangor, Maine, where he gave bassist Dee Dee Ramone a copy of Pet Sematary. Dee Dee would go down to Stephen King's basement and just apparently devour the book, returning an hour later with the lyrics already written to the song.
Hey, this would make a neat story. Done.
With the remake of Pet Sematary, producers decided that they should also remake the classic theme song. Now, this could have gone horribly, horribly wrong. Whenever a studio decides to remake a classic movie and then also re-record the classic theme song to that movie, sometimes it just sounds like shit. But I think they found the right band to cover this specific song.
I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery.
By 2019, Starcrawler was a relatively small band. They had their debut self-titled album as well as some singles. They're a pretty cool glam rock revival band with a unique sound and appeal. Arrow DeWild's vocals and stage presence are unmatched. Starcrawler's cover of The Ramones doesn't take too many liberties, but it also doesn't sound like a band doing karaoke. Starcrawler does just enough to set their version apart from the original, while also keeping it respectful to the source material. It retains the original's spookiness, while adding a more garage rock sound as opposed to the Ramones' punk sound. If you're looking for a punky song with some spookiness for your Halloween escapades, look no further than Starcrawler's Pet Sematary. One of my favorite movies of all time is the original Scream from 1996.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Now, Scream doesn't technically have a theme song, but if it did, it would have to be Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
Producers thought the song fit the vibe so well that they included it in all 3 of the original trilogy movies. I don't know if it was included in any of the sequels because didn't really watch them because I don't really want to. Mid! The song has kind of taken on a life of its own, most notably becoming the theme song to the show Peaky Blinders. There have been several covers and remixes throughout the show's run, some of which being really good and really cool, like the Arctic Monkeys cover.
On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
But there's other versions that are just so bafflingly bad, like the one by Snoop Dogg.
On another gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Say what?
This cover samples the original's instrumentation, adding some beats for originality, I guess. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard, but it's not great either. Snoop's vocals are not good. I don't know if this was used as promotional material or if it was actually used in a scene in the show. I've never watched Peaky Blinders. But this cover doesn't make me want to check it out. It's pretty bad. The Misfits are like the perfect Halloween band. Their entire discography is perfect. Well, maybe not their entire discography, but their early stuff is absolutely goated. My personal favorite Misfits song has to be Hybrid Moments. I think this song perfectly marries the Misfits' penchant for horror imagery, somewhat edgy lyrics, and unique vocal stylings. It's a song that really anyone can sing.
In hybrid moments, give me a moment.
I'm sorry. It's hard to really compare to the original, and not many bands can even come close. But if there's one band that can do anything, it's Foxy Shazam. In hybrid moments, in hybrid moments. Foxy Shazam covered Hybrid Moments in 2010. Yeah, they've been around even before Peacemaker, believe it or not. I don't think it was ever an official release or recording. I think it was just a performance that they filmed and released on their Foxy Shazam TV YouTube channel. And it's kind of an odd performance because it doesn't feature frontman Eric Nally on lead vocals, but rather trumpet player Alex Knopf. Eric instead chooses to drunkenly tap on a tambourine, while bassist Daisy plays guitar. And this must have been while they were on tour or something, because they're just hanging out in a hotel room or a dressing room. It's weird, but it's great. Alex is a surprisingly good vocalist. Or at least his vocals work in this more intimate setting. The group vocals from Eric and Daisy also work. And Eric doesn't take over the cover with his unique vocals, like he doesn't out-sing Alex. It just seems like something they all did just to have fun. This is just a fun little cover of a horror punk classic by a criminally underrated band. If you like good rock and roll music and need some for your Halloween party, definitely check out this Misfits cover by Foxy Shazam. Last year I did an entire video covering the history of the Halloween classic The Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett. It's a fun video if you haven't already seen it. Probably one of my favorite videos I've ever made. The Monster Mash is a staple of the Halloween season and has been covered by several artists over just numerous decades. Everyone from the Beach Boys to All-Star Weekend to The Count from Sesame Street for some reason. I said in the previous entry that I specifically enjoy the Misfits' early stuff as opposed to their later stuff, and there's a reason for that.
It sucks.
I wasn't a fan of the Jerry-only led version in the 2000s, and I definitely wasn't a fan of the Michael Graves-led era in the 90s. And that's the era that this cover comes from. Graves does not have the same vocal abilities as Glenn Danzig. I think if Danzig tried covering the Monster Mash, he'd probably do a pretty decent job, even now. But Graves just sucks. His vocals bring down the entire song. And speaking of the song, they take away the original's surf rock novelty in favor of just basic, speedy hardcore. And not even good hardcore at that. The charm of the original Monster Mash is that it doesn't take itself seriously. It's a silly song about horror movie icons doing a dance. Bobby Pickett's Boris Karloff impression and theatrics made the original what it was. None of that charm can be found in this Misfits cover. If you value your ears and your Halloween experience, stay away from this cover. And also stay away from the Michael Graves era of Misfits. You'll thank me later. Sometimes a song comes out that just stands the test of time. Michael Jackson's Thriller is one of those songs. Not only is it a great disco track, as well as one of the King of Pop's all-time greatest songs, but it's one of those songs that are just perfect for Halloween. This could have been because it was influenced by Michael Jackson's love of horror movies, as well as the inclusion of horror icon Vincent Price, or the all-time classic music video. Whatever it is, Thriller is just a Halloween classic. This song has become a go-to spooky cover for both rock and pop musicians alike. But I think one of my favorite covers of the song comes from one of the best modern rock bands for the Halloween season, Ice Nine Kills. Ice Nine Kills takes a lot of influence from horror media, whether it be horror movies, horror literature, video games, or just horror culture. And Thriller is a part of that horror culture. So of course Ice Nine Kills are going to cover it, whereas MJ's original had a more disco, kind of dancey, sort of synthy vibe. Ink puts a more rock and metalcore spin on their cover. They really up the spookiness. Which is a feat, if you ask me. And Spencer doesn't try to compete with Michael Jackson's vocals. I mean, who could? And it's a good thing he doesn't try to replicate the King of Pop. If he tried too hard, I don't think that this cover would be even close to good. The band does their own thing and really makes the song their own. Is it as good as the original? No, of course not. but it's a good cover by a band who respects the song as a piece of horror media. I highly recommend checking it out. Now, this final entry may or may not technically be a Halloween-themed cover, but this is my video, so I'm gonna keep it in.
I do what I want.
Alkaline Trio is a very underrated punk and kind of emo-adjacent band. I remember listening to their album From Here to Infirmary a lot in middle school and high school. Songs like Stupid Kid and Steamer Trunk were like soundtracks to that era of my life. They have a certain spookiness about them as a band. Definitely a gothy influence. And that's Halloween-y, right? One of my favorite Alkaline Trio songs is one that always reminds me of fall. And that song is Radio.
I wish you would take my radio to bang with you, plugged in and ready to fall.
I don't know if it's the sound or the vibe, or maybe the album cover itself, but this song just always puts me in the October mood. Another underrated and undeniably spooky emo band is Aiden. It's clear that Alkaline Trio was a strong influence on Aiden. And what do you do when you're in a band and you want to honor and pay tribute to the bands that influenced you?
That's right.
You ruin one of their classic songs.
I wish you would take my radio to bathe with you, plugged in and ready to fall.
While this version is a lot eerier than the original, I feel like this cover loses a lot of the autumnal warmth that Alkaline Trio's OG had. The guitar is replaced with piano, and while it's played well, it just takes all of the energy out of the song. And William Control's vocals just aren't as good as Matt Skiba's. Skiba can sing all of those angry and bitter lyrics and still have you enjoying yourself. But it's kind of the opposite with Will. It's not the worst cover I've ever heard, but Aiden's cover of Radio definitely loses a lot of what made the Alkaline Trio version great. You can give it a listen if you want, but I'd recommend the original much more. Do you like any of these covers? What are some Halloween appropriate covers that you would recommend? Let me know in the comments. That's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then I highly recommend smashing that like button and sharing this video with everyone you know. I am a small, independent content creator who does everything on his own. And I'm really trying to grow my channel, so every like, every comment, every share, any interaction with this video at all really helps me out a lot. I'm also trying to grow my Instagram, so if you want to follow me there too, you can. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. As always, I'm Trevor. Stay uncool. And that's the end of the video. Goodbye.